So why study communication? So that's just briefly us. Well, why study communication? Well, first of all, it's a cutting-edge research area. I mean, it's exciting to do research on communications in society. Communication profs and students are at the forefront of research that aims to understand the economic, political, and cultural drivers and impacts of communications media in society. So when we're speaking of communications media, we're speaking of things like our smartphones, our tablets, radio, television, comic books, films, TV shows, video games, the internet, the World Wide Web, every single medium through which we communicate, through which we impart or receive ideas, images about the world, we study it.
My name is Michael Lisinski, and I'm taking Communication and Digital Media Studies.
My name's Ophelia, and I'm in the communication program.
So my name is Aziz Douai, and I've been actually with the communication program since almost its beginning.
So, our program is full of really passionate teachers and many winners of student-nominated teaching awards. So when you join the communication program, you're going to be working with professors that really care and that really love to teach and that really love to work with you and to meet new students.
The teachers here are great, very approachable, very understanding. One thing that I really love about the professors is that they remember what it's like being a student. And that's very important, because the moment you forget that and you start holding on to that position of I'm a professor is the moment your students stop listening.
My first ever class was Intro to Communication at university, and I remember being absolutely floored with how our professor acted, because in high school teachers often act in a very authoritarian manner, and this professor was completely open and total fun, and also really hardworking, and she made you feel like what you said mattered.
But because the professors are so approachable and so personable, you really get into the content and you want to do well.
Also, we study communication. Why? Because our courses are really cool. Our courses focus on some of the most exciting topics and interesting issues of our time and give you the opportunity to explore from many different angles how communications is shaped by the world and changing it in fundamental ways. So here's just a few of our course titles, and you can talk to us afterward if you want to learn more. But we teach courses like pop culture, what it's like to work in the information age, public relations, understanding social media, video games, public speaking, writing and publishing in the digital age. These are academically relevant, but also professionally relevant too.
I'm taking the comprehensive stream, so it's basically anything. I didn't specialize, and the reason why I didn't specialize is because I wanted to experience basically all of the specializations. So I took a little bit from each area just to get some experience of what communication is like in different industries, such as the commerce industry and health and health sciences and digital media.
Communication is defined less by what we study than how we study it. People communicate in all sorts of different ways, through literature, through TV and movies, through politics, through identity. And we sort of look at all of those things as they manifest themselves in everyday life. As a result, there are many different career paths you can take with communication.
When we talk about communication, people understand by communication in different ways, right? So some people think about communication as the way we communicate, you and me, and that's more of interpersonal communication, right? But some other people think about communication the way politicians or the political elite talks to the voting public, and that's more of political communication. Some people understand by communication mass communication, and by that we mean how the media, the news media for example, communicate with the public. And you can see here from these different understandings of communication how communication touches all aspects of our lives, and that's why we study communication, and that's, I think, why communication matters.
Every single organization in society, in the information age particularly, from businesses to governments to non-governmental organizations to the communication and creative industries, need people who understand communications and know how to communicate. So this is a huge and growing sector in Ontario, in Canada, and all over the world. There's been astronomical growth in every sector of the communications and creative industries in Ontario, and this is not likely to stop anytime soon.
But it's one of the most popular programs in academia in terms of student enrollment and also in terms of the production of its faculty and all of that. So yeah, and I think that goes back to the richness of communication as a discipline and field of study.
So lots of hot topics, just these are a few of the hundreds of questions that we take up in our program. Will Wikipedia make us the smartest generation of all time? Why is 61% of the world population offline? And how do we bridge that digital divide or gap between the information haves and have-nots? Will big data help us understand and change the world for the better? Why do people share things on Facebook that they wouldn't face-to-face? These are just a few of the sort of questions that are relevant questions in the news, in the media, that we probably talk about at the dinner table as well, that we answer.
One of my friends actually put it this way. She said, wherever you see text, there's a communication person behind that. So whenever you see somebody on TV speaking, for example, more often than not, they're not using their own words. When they're speaking on TV, they're using our words. When you see an advertisement, could be an advertising professional who created the advertisement, but more often than not, the copy was written by a communication professional.
Our grads pursue many different careers: social media experts for popular TV shows, films, or bands, communication experts, information and policy analysts, public affairs agents, digital media publishers, and more. So there's new careers, new opportunities emerging in the sector every day. Our communication program will build your knowledge of communications in society, enhance your spoken, written, and digital communication skills, develop your critical and abstract thinking skills, expand your cultural awareness and deepen your interpersonal skills, and help you to live and work in an age in which communications is everywhere and in everything.
Communication Digital Studies, which is also a program that is unique in the sense that it focuses on digital media and this whole new idea of new media and the consequences of new media, whether it's bullying or focusing and attention, whether it's the ability to use this kind of media in revolutionary settings. So we have a lot of good research going on, and our students as well, when they finish, they get some really excellent jobs, such as being communication officers for the 407 highway. One of our students is doing that. We have quite a few people. We have our students completing books and books of poetry. So our Communication Digital Studies program is unique in the sense that it combines classic communication along with this new idea of digital media. We have a Canada Research Chair too in that program who focuses on what we call wearable media. And we all know about those wearable medias like the Apple new watch, which has now been disallowed in exams. I don't know if you heard that, but people are not allowed to bring in the Apple Watch into exams because they think it's a good cheat sheet for people. But so she studies not only the consequence of this media on our society, but how the society impacts the production of this media. Right, so she looks at sci-fi movies that were done in 60 years ago or 50 years ago, and shows you how human intervention has changed that technology and made it real. A lot of those things that you watch on television 60 years ago are now part of our lives. So she studies the impact of human society on the emerging of the new media, but also its impact on our society as we live it today.